Raymond,
Yes.
it is time.
Time for what?
The Gauntlet II.
It is time. It's not a good time, but it is time nonetheless.
This is
the GoldCast. Boom! Welcome to another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
Boom! Raymond, it's here. The Gauntlet II.
Along with the heat, it is very hot today.
Man, it's really hot in LA too. By the way, so GoldCast Nation, this is my version of a beard. Little known fact, Rudy Solis III can't grow a beard. Yeah, Raymond can grow a full beard. This is right.
I got a slight shadow today. That's about it.
This is like 7 weeks of quarantine, no shaving. This is basically what it would look like. So here you go. Here you go, GoldCast Nation. You're welcome. These are things you can only get on youtube.com/thegoldcast. All right, Ray. So let's get focused here. Week 6, the Gauntlet II begins. And the teams that we face in no particular order, I just rattled them off so many times this week to people, anyone that I was talking to about the 49ers that I know the teams. It's the Rams. It's the Seahawks. It's the Saints. It's the Patriots. It's the Packers. It's the Rams. This is a brutal schedule, and that's not even the order, but that's literally all the guys that we're going to be facing, and it is going to be tough. We were hoping going into this game, our goal was to be 5-0 before the season started. After we lost to Arizona, we saw an opportunity to win 4 games in a row, starting with the New York Giants, following that up with the Jets, right? Was that the right order? Oh, Jets, Giants. Then having an opportunity to take out the Eagles and then take out Miami and go in 4-1. That was the goal. Then people started getting hurt. We still dominated. The depth of the team looked fantastic in New York. We took down the Jets. We took down the Giants. We go, okay, we got this. Philly's hobbled. We can take care of Philly. That game ends up we really kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Unfortunately, Nick Mullins with a dagger pick 6 takes us out, and then we lose that game. Then we go, okay, wait, we can bounce back against Miami. Jimmy G's coming back. Let's do it. Jimmy G, clearly still injured, is unable to really perform at the level that we want him to. He gets taken out for the second half of the game, and
because footwork is very important, and if you don't know football, you just are one of the other morons that thinks that Jimmy got benched because he's not good enough.
Yes, which was ridiculous. He's had bad games before. This was an injury. Shanahan confirmed it. People are trying to say, well, maybe he's just protecting him. Shanahan doesn't waste time like that. That's a waste of our time. That's like what some other corny coach does in some other team. That's not here. So then we bench Jimmy G because he's hurt. CJ Beathard comes in. It's too little too late. We get roasted. And now here we go. The Gauntlet II is in front of us, Ray. And this is a team that we were hoping would be 5-0, hoping we'd be 4-1. Now we're what are we now?
2-3.
2-3. Yeah, we are now
below 500.
We are below 500. And this is kind of terrifying. This has been a tough season. If you watched our episode earlier in the week, we had a very lengthy discussion, both on the video podcast, the audio podcast, all about where the Niners would be right now. And so let's go over just what the Vegas odds have us for, what we can expect. So this is Week 6 for the 49ers. The Los Angeles Rams are coming to San Francisco. The Rams are 4-1. They are 2-1 on the road. San Francisco is 2-3. We are 0-3 at home. We have literally lost every game at home, which is actually kind of rare. That's not a usual thing. This game is going to be this Sunday, October 18th, 2020. It is going to be Sunday Night Football. It will be on NBC, and let's see what they think. So, Vegas has finally lost faith in us. They have the Rams at 3.5-point favorites over San Francisco.
Not surprised.
I think that's probably fair given how we've played. They're looking at the total over under it being 50. So let's talk about some stats, things I like to drop down, just what we're averaging, what we're giving up in terms of points. So the Rams right now are averaging 27.2 points per game this season. That is 12th in the NFL. They are surrendering 18 points per game this season. That's number 3 in the NFL. Those numbers sound almost exactly like the 49ers 1 year ago at this time, generally averaging about 25 to 27 points and only giving up somewhere between 15 and 18. That's almost exactly where we were. We've now switched places. But if you want more information on how the Rams are doing, you're going to have to go to the Louis B's The Only Rams Fan in the World cast. It's literally him recording, talking to himself because he's the only Rams fan that exists. So let's go back to the 49ers. San Francisco is averaging 24.8 points per game this season. That is 18th in the NFL. Still not that bad, but not great. San Francisco is surrendering 22.8 points per game this season. That is 10th in the NFL. Clearly a stark contrast. If you actually look at those numbers, that's about a 3-point difference on both ends of the spectrum between the 49ers and the Rams. Man, Raymond, this is a tough game. Our season, now I want to be clear on this because we're not here for hyperbole. We're not here for hot takes. We're here for what's really going on with the team. So, Raymond, right now, this is a team that's been pretty hobbled. This is a team that's been injured a lot. This is a team that has you said going into this, and we both beat this like drums many episodes in a row. This season it was going to hinge on our ability to stay healthy. We have clearly not been able to stay healthy. So, Raymond, do we have any good news? What does the injury report look like? This is always the next part of our show. This is your favorite part of the show. Break down who is going to be playing for us. And here's my number one question. I want to start with this player. Is Jimmy G playing at all this week? What is the synopsis? What have you seen?
So to me, it looks like he's trending towards a start on Sunday. So remember, he was just barely removed from being able to play last week. We saw him step on the field. He couldn't plant his foot to get, accurate throws off, and he was pulled as a precautionary method because if he stayed out there, he could have risked further injury. Jimmy G's not the most, durable quarterback out there, unfortunately. So as a precaution, they pulled him, but he was a full participant today, which means he's most likely going to be a full participant today, although the report hasn't been finalized yet because they're still in the middle of practice as we speak. Dante Johnson didn't practice today. Quan Alexander didn't practice today. He's nursing an ankle injury. He will most likely be ready to go because there hasn't been any bad or negative or updated reports on, his status. I imagine he's going to play. DJ Jones, who's dealing with some kind of eye injury, he was a full participant today. He will most likely participate. Is participating today as well. So that's good because DJ Jones, unfortunately, another player that's really good when he's out there, but, just can't seem to hold up durability-wise. But he's still young. It's still young in his career. A lot of times the early years are tough on the body as you're acclimating to the speed and the difference in strength between NFL players and Division I football players and other collegiate athletes. There's just a stark difference between the speed and strength of those two divisions of football. So DJ Jones, I think he will play on Sunday. And then Emmanuel Moseley, limited practice today. So that is good news. He's been dealing with concussion the past couple weeks. So he was limited in practice today. If he gets another limited practice today and is able to get a full participant on Friday, then we can expect him to start. That'll be good. Between him and Akella Witherspoon, I'll feel much better having Ward and Tart being, having the extra coverage assistance from the likes of Emmanuel Moseley and Akella Witherspoon, and also Jason Verrett, who's been very good this year as well. On the other side, on the Rams side, we have Ogbonia, an outside linebacker who didn't practice today. His last name is Okoronkwo. It's a crazy last name. Aaron Donald also did not practice today, but it was not injury related. He leads the NFL in sacks with 7.5 so far. He will most likely play this Sunday. I don't expect him to miss any time. This was a non-injury related absence from practice. Andrew Whitworth, the outside offensive lineman, also not injury related. He did not practice today. He will most likely be a full go to this day. And then Micah Kaiser, the inside linebacker, a groin injury, limited in practice today. That's 50-50 shot. He might play and he might not, just because groin injuries are really tricky. They're nagging. They're easy to re-aggravate once they get going, so it's hard to tell with that one. So that's kind of a wait and see. And then Bobby Evans, another offensive lineman for the Rams, dealing with a shoulder injury. He was limited in practice today. We'll have to see if he's limited today and if he trends upward or not. It's hard to know at this point, just because we're still in the middle of the week. We're in the latter half of the week now, but we only have today and tomorrow to really figure out if these guys are going to play or not. But, matchup wise, these teams actually stack up really well. I mean, this is a division game, so I expect there to be a lot more defense than I do offense. Last year, it was, the 20-7 contest where the Rams scored in the opening drive and then were unable to score after that. I don't expect that to happen this time around. Although statistically, the Niners are still the 8th best defense in the league in terms of total defense. The Rams are right there at number 7. In terms of passing defense, the Niners are once again a top 10 defense. The Rams are actually number 5. Niners are 9th best passing defense in the NFL, and the Rams are number 5 in the NFL. And then in terms of rushing, this is kind of where, Niners are number 10 and Rams are number 9. So they're very similar statistically. So this to me is going to come down to which offense has the most, health and also, is able to really kind of penetrate and expose the weakness of the opposing defense. Right now, our weakness is in the passing game. Jared Goff's been playing better, and he's been progressively getting better as the weeks have gone on. In our case, we haven't had a healthy quarterback or a consistent quarterback since week 1. So that's kind of the predicament we're in. But if Jimmy can go and his ankle's better and he's able to plant his foot, then you can expect him to be just as accurate as he's always been. I don't really expect any rustiness per se out of Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe in the open series or not, but considering they just got the tar kicked out of them last week in the Dolphins, I think, the Niners are definitely looking to get back on track and definitely have something to prove and are playing with a chip on their shoulders this Sunday, whereas the Rams are more or less going to want to keep pace with the other teams. Seattle's undefeated right now, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. They're battling themselves for third place right now, and the Rams, so the Rams are really kind of battling for second and first place, and they're going to want to keep pace with Seattle as best as they can. Every win counts in the NFC West, but overall, I see a really even matchup. But if I have to break it down in terms of offense, I obviously am going to give the creative edge to Kyle Shanahan. Next to, Andy Reid, he's the best play caller in the NFL. Sean McVay is certainly creative and certainly somebody who worked with Kyle Shanahan. But again, to me, it's a derivative version of the Kyle Shanahan offense. Although he has obviously done some copycatting since last year, losing both those games. Now he runs a running back committee over there in LA between Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers. Darrell Henderson obviously leads that pack, but it's the same deal that we have going on here. Raheem Mostert, Jerick McKinnon leading the pack in terms of rushing. So expect to see this is like almost like a mirror match, like when you play in a fighting game like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. It's like someone's using the same character in a single match. That's what I expect here. But I'm not sure what you see, but that's what I see so far.
Thank you for that. And I guess you're right. I think that's a great little analogy. It's like Ken versus Ryu. And we're Ken because Ryu sucks. And so obviously the Rams are Ryu. So we're clearly Ken. We also wear red and Ryu wears blue. So there you go. So getting back to this, the problem here, the glaring difference between these two teams that I think, you've only alluded to, and I'm going to put a big spotlight on, is the fact that the biggest difference is while Sean McVay's offense is a derivative of the Kyle Shanahan system, the difference is health. And that team is fully healthy, and the 49ers are not. I expect this to be a competitive game. I expect this to be a tough game. But the edge I have to give to the Rams. The Rams are fully healthy. They're firing on all cylinders. They're rocking. They're rolling. And while not every game has been pretty, they managed to pull those wins out, more often than not. They've only lost one time this entire season.
When we haven't. We've had 2 ugly back-to-back games, and they both resulted in L's. So while the Rams are winning ugly games, we are losing ugly games, which is not the side of the spectrum you want to be on. So you're going to give the edge to the Rams. So coaching-wise, I'm going to give the edge to Kyle Shanahan because he's obviously a far better coach. Quarterback-wise, I think we got to give it to Jared Goff because he's healthy, he's playing consistently, and he's been progressively getting better. And Louis B, shout out to Louis B. I know you're going to like to hear that. I got to be honest. I got to be fair. I got to be objective. That's what I'm seeing right now.
I am too. They're healthier. And like we said, if you want to hear more about what's going on with the Rams, go to the Louis B is the only Rams fan in the world podcast. It's literally just him talking to himself. If you go to the message board, it's just Louis responding to Louis all the way down like 100 times. So, go to that podcast. And, it's probably the loneliest podcast that exists in the world. So going back to this, going into our game predictions, what do you see? I have an idea of what I think is going to happen. I want to hear what you think is going to happen. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, receiving core-wise, I would give the edge to San Francisco. We obviously have the most dynamic tight end in all of football, and he leads the team in receiving. Although their number 1, Cooper Kupp, has been healthy this whole season, and he's played a lot better, so I give them an edge there. But we have 2 Deebo Samuel-like players in Brandon Ayuk and with Brandon Ayuk as well. And so I think there's just a little bit more dynamic play that comes out of those 2, that tandem versus the Cooper Kupp, Bobby Trees combination. Running back wise, it looks pretty even between Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown. Raheem Mostert's a far better runner and has better vision. And the same can be said of Jerick McKinnon, at least from what I've seen. I haven't seen a lot of tape. I don't watch tape over there. So sorry, Louis B. I'm getting off the bandwagon as of this point on for the rest of the podcast. So I'm going to give the edge to running. I'm going to give a slight edge to passing just because there's more dynamic. Remember, Kyle Shanahan likes versatile players that can do more than one thing. They're not a one-trick pony. So I give the edge there to the Niners in that case. But defense, I got to give the edge to the Rams. They've got the leading sack rusher in the NFL, 7.5. He's going to be coming after us. And with the way the offensive line has been playing this season, I do expect Aaron Donald to get his on Sunday. At least anywhere between 2 to 2.5 sacks is what I expect out of him. That's what he's gotten in the previous weeks, and that's when we were good. So there's a chance he might even get a hat trick if the offensive line does not hold up for Jimmy Garoppolo, which it very much needs to at this point because any big hit can knock Jimmy out further, and we really don't want to avoid that this time around. But I don't know. I'm nervous about this one because I just don't know how the health is going to hold up. I don't know who's going to start on defense. If there are holes in the passing game, Sean McVay is good enough to figure out those holes and expose them, which would mean that we'll be playing from behind. So I'm going to give because it is the GoldCast, and we are optimists at the GoldCast, I'm going to give a very cautiously optimistic score of 24-21 in favor of the Niners. We win by a field goal via Robbie Gould's golden foot.
Oh my goodness. I was going to say, I'm not even kidding, 24-20 in favor of the Rams, though.
Oh, okay. We shall see.
Oh, I hate doing that. It makes me so angry.
It's a division game, so everyone's usually, even the shittiest teams, bring their A game on division games. Miami is still a 2-3 football team, and they played great against Buffalo, and they're in their division. So, and same can be said when the Eagles play, the Giants or the Cowboys. They just play better. Everyone plays better when they play. The Raiders, who have been kind of up and down this season, even though they have a ton of talent, gave the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss, but then lost to some teams that they really shouldn't have. But again, it was a division matchup. So The division matchups can go either way. They're always going to be a slugfest, especially in the NFC West. I expect these two teams to go at it toe-to-toe. I expect it to be really tight in the first half and to be even tighter in the second half, but someone's got to come out with a W here, and I expect no ties, but I'm going to give the field goal winning edge to the Niners.
That like I said, that is so funny because I'm literally doing the opposite.
You're the
thing.
inverse.
Yes, I am giving and it's the exact same score. You said 24-21.
I was saying 24-21.
I said 24-20 in favor of the Rams. The Rams cover the Vegas spread of 3.5.
Jared Goff is going to throw 2 touchdowns, and I think they're going to get a touchdown on the ground as well from one of the running backs. I'm guessing Darrell Henderson is going to be leading the charge for them this week. He's the one who did a really good job leading the charge, I think, in one of those games last year. I forget which one. But I think that they will have a much more difficult time dealing with the combination of Raheem Mostert and Jerick McKinnon, who also are far better receiving backs than anyone on the Rams. At least Jerick McKinnon is. Raheem Mostert does catch too, but not to the same degree as Jerick McKinnon.
Well, there you have it, folks. There it is. We have almost the exact same prediction, just the inverse of teams. Raymond says it's going to be 24-21 in favor of the 49ers. I begrudgingly, angrily, frustratingly said it's going to be 24-20 in favor of the Rams. Who do you guys have? Who are you guys going to pick? Let us know at youtube.com/the GoldCast. Pop it in the comments. We know, and actually I want to address this now, and then we got to go. The videos have sometimes come out a day or two later. It's just because the editing is a little more intense. But this video will be up today, a little bit after the podcast, but they will both be up in the same day. And we're going to make sure that we work really hard to get that going. It's just sometimes when these videos are longer, it's just a little bit longer editing process for us. So just be a little patient. Sometimes the video's out a day or two later, but these will both be out today. So let us know who you think's going to win and by how much. And then we'll be back on Monday to recap this Rams game. And then we're also going to be recording our wine bottle team next week with Candlestick Will. He is making his triumphant return to the show. And we're going to be putting together our wine bottle 49ers team. Basically, the best players from what years, putting them all together. And so concludes another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III. And with me is my brother, my co-host,
Ray Solis the first, baby.
Boom. We'll see you next time. Same GoldCast time, same GoldCast channel.
Shout out to Sean Shipley for reaching out to us. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah.